is the Great Reset. It is the time where the world will be transitioned to the New World Order. They want to completely reset the way things are done in the world.
I gotta turn my headphones up. There we go. Yeah.
New World Order is the Great Reset. They want Lucifer as God and your safety net. New World Order is the Great Reset. They want Lucifer as God and your safety net. New World Order is the Great Reset. Great Reset. Great Reset. New World Order is the Great Reset. Great Reset. Great Reset. World leaders got a plan. Agenda 2030. New World Order. Yeah, they tryna do us dirty. The reset is social, economic, and religious. The Antichrist is coming. Don't you bow to his image or take his mark, cause there is no forgiveness. Yahuwah is love, but his wrath is relentless. Better beware of the mark of the beast. Will I ever take that? No, not in the least. Don't believe the man is sin when he promising peace. But before he is revealed, chaos in the streets. When the economy collapsed, chaos in the streets. He will sign a deal in Israel promising peace. Yeah. New World Order is the Great Reset. They want Lucifer as God and your safety net. New World Order is the Great Reset. They want Lucifer as God and your safety net. New World Order is the Great Reset. Great Reset. Great Reset. New World Order is the Great Reset. 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 Great Reset.
Yeah. You gotta get into the word. Revelations 13. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to be given a mark upon their right hand or upon their foreheads, and that no man should be able to buy or sell except he that has the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Revelations 13, verse 15 through 17. Get into it.
Yeah. Ay. Yeah. Ay.
Be cheesy.
Ay. Talking to the devil, yeah, you talking to the devil. Ay. Showing off your money, boy, it doesn't make you special. Ay. Talking to the devil, why you talking to the devil? Ay. I believe in God, no mask, I am a rebel. Talking to the devil, now you grinding on the devil. Yeah. Little Nas X, boy, you just a fruity pebble. Skittles. Talking to the devil, yeah, you talking to the devil. Burn all your idols, stop talking to the devil. Talking to the devil, hell is hotter than a kettle. I headed towards Bethel with my foot up on the pedal. Yeah. Even though you black, you don't have to be so ghetto. Satan pulling strings like that fellow named Geppetto. Back against the wall, bounce back like an echo. Haters playing games, but you not on my level. You playing with my God, boy, you better be careful. The world is against me, but I still remain.
And we are back. Let me know if you guys can hear me. If you can hear me okay, please type 211 in the chat. If all systems are go, let me know if you guys can hear me okay. Once again, if you can hear me, make sure to type 211 in the chat. And we will move forward. We've got a lot to get into, guys. 211. All right. Welcome, guys. Welcome to another weekly show. Before we get started, I want to say that I want to do these shows on Friday nights. Okay, so I'm a little kind of late getting in, but usually I want to start to do these shows, at 7 p.m. my time, around this time. Okay, so we got a lot to get into. I want to send a shout out to my mod Candy. This is my girlfriend. I want you guys to show her some love. She's here with us in the stream, and she's going to get rid of the trolls. She's just going to, be sharing some links with you guys. If you guys have any questions, you guys can reach out to her directly. So let's go ahead and get into the show, man. We've got a lot to talk about, and if you guys are looking at the thumbnail, you probably have a good idea about what we're going to be talking about. So I want to talk about this monkey situation. No pun intended. No monkey business. There are some things I think that we need to discuss, okay? So before I get into the information and break down what this is really about, let's go ahead and let's look at this clip concerning the monkey situation.
What you're about to see is going to
And of course they hit me with the ad, bro.
Different.
This is destiny.
Embrace it.
All right, here we go.
This morning, a Massachusetts man is in isolation after being diagnosed with the first case of monkeypox in the U.S. this year.
The team thinking about the patient and hearing just over the weekend about some of the cases in the United Kingdom, thought more broadly about the patient's diagnosis.
The U.K., Portugal, and Spain have reported unusual monkeypox clusters. That information helped diagnose the man in Massachusetts, who's said to be doing well. Monkeypox is more common in Africa, often from animal to people transmission. Doctors say the Massachusetts patient traveled to Canada recently, not an area associated as high risk for monkeypox. Last year, the U.S. reported only 2 cases of the disease, both associated with travel. So the question is, how did this man contract monkeypox?
To have someone just get monkeypox from driving to Canada and coming back suggests that it may be the tip of the iceberg, and there may be more people with monkeypox who don't know it.
Initial symptoms are similar to the flu and COVID-19, often starting with fever and chills, with a rash and pus-filled lesions showing up later. It typically spreads through respiratory droplets or direct contact with an infected person's body. Doctors say the current patient and some people in Europe with the disease are men who have sex with men. But
isn't that interesting? Let's continue.
Dr. Chin Hong says monkeypox can spread through the sharing of any bodily fluid. The fatality rate for this strain is less than 1%. Experts say there's no need for panic, but we must be prepared.
It behooves us all to think about a pandemic response or an epidemic response, not only to COVID, but to all of these other things. And I think monkeypox is a paradigm for many other things.
Authorities are now contact tracing everyone who may have had contact with the Massachusetts man. And the CDC is monitoring 6 Americans who shared a flight with a British patient.
Okay, so let's talk about it, bro. So what's really interesting about this is just when a lot of people thought that this was all over and that we're back to normal, boom, another one. Now, what's really interesting about this whole situation is that a few days before this was announced, there was a deal that was done for I gotta use terminology here, a hokey pokey for specifically the monkeypox. Let's take a look here. So there's a company that's working directly with the cat called the Bavarian Nordic. It says Bavarian Nordic shares surge on order for the MP shot amid Europe outbreaks, 1 case in the US. So they already had this ready to go when it was announced that it started to, circulate in the US. Why? Because as I've been telling people for a long time, they are going to keep on cranking out stuff. Okay, they done, scared you enough with the 1.9, so now they got to come up with something else. The bottom line is, Big Pharma is not going to pull back on trying to constantly poke you. Okay, so let's just read this real quick. We're not going to read the whole thing, but just give you a rough outline. It says, the shares of a Danish pharmaceutical group surged on Thursday after the company received an order for its poke to treat monkeypox, a rare disease that has cropped up recently across a handful of European countries. The Bavarian Nordic AS shares climbed 26%, so obviously they made some profit from this. In Copenhagen on news that an unnamed European country has signed a contract for a smallpox shot, which can also be used to treat the virus that began appearing in May. The relatively rare virus has been detected in Portugal, the UK, and Spain, with health officials in the US announcing a case in Massachusetts involving a man who traveled to Canada. European investigators have said most of the cases have occurred between gay men, indicating transmission via close by, possibly through intercourse. Possibly Okay, whatever. So we can clearly see here that they have now provided a new distraction, a new fear-mongering tactic in order for them to continue to basically poke people. Now, another thing that's really interesting about this is there was a movie called Outbreak that came out, I believe it was like the early 90s. Yeah, 1995. And let me just read the plot, or actually, let me just give you a full synopsis of the movie. It says the film focuses on an outbreak of a fictional virus in Zaire and later in a small town in California, and is primarily set in the United States Medical Research Facility and the Centers for Disease Control. In the fictional town of Cedar Creek, California, Outbreak's plot speculates how far military and civilian agencies might go to contain the spread of a deadly contagious disease. And if you look at this cover here, you can clearly see a monkey. Let me just zoom in here. Predictive programming. They show you what they're going to do before they do it. So it's not a coincidence that you see this happening and then there's a movie for it that happened years and years and years ago. And if you guys have been watching this channel for a while, when I talk about predictive programming, I show you how they show you what's going to happen. You cannot look at these movies as fiction. You need to look at these movies with an introspective mindset, like, okay, how would they roll out something like this? So the movie Outbreak involves a basic outbreak of a disease that just randomly sprouts out of nowhere, originating from a monkey. Another interesting thing about this as well is when we heard about the HIV thing, wasn't the original story that it came from a monkey? It's like, leave the monkeys alone. I mean, leave the chimpanzees and the monkeys and the banana eaters alone. It's like all of these things that y'all do and y'all create in labs, y'all want to blame on the chimps. Okay, chimps' lives matter. Leave the monkeys alone. The monkeys ain't had nothing to do with this, okay? Yeah, I'll just play it around. Now, another thing that's really interesting here is I want to show you guys something else here. Now, I don't know if you guys remember this, but this was like maybe a few weeks ago where there was reported that there was a crash. There was a truck that was carrying monkeys that were being experimented on. The truck crashed and the monkeys escaped. This might be the reason as to why they might blame that incident upon what we're seeing right now with this outbreak. Let's take a look at this news clip here. Once again, it's not a coincidence. Very convenient. Another ad.
Now to a bizarre story involving the crash of a trailer full of monkeys headed to a lab, and a woman now experiencing health problems after coming in close contact with the primates. The woman says she has been put on preventative medicine for the next 2 weeks, but there are some questions tonight into what these monkeys were being used for and what they could have been infected with.
Down in more and it pops up. Michelle Fallon never thought something like this would happen.
I thought, well, zoo monkeys. You know, I didn't know these were animal tested monkeys.
I mean, look at her, y'all. She got like snot coming out of her nose. I mean, really, what is going on here?
After witnessing a crash on a Pennsylvania highway and stopping to help, she learned the truck was carrying 100 monkeys from East Africa, headed for a Missouri test lab.
I thought they were like okay, like they had their shots, they're good, they've been checked. I didn't know they could have diseases or whatever.
After checking to make sure the driver was okay, she went up to the trailer full of crates, thinking there were cats inside.
They had this like green cloth over, so I peel it back and I go to stick my finger in there to try to pet it, and it pops its head up and I'm like, oh, it's a monkey.
3 of the monkeys escaped in the crash and 1 was recovered. 2 others were put down. But the hours-long escape forced health officials to issue an alert, warning the community not to come into close contact with the primates because the species commonly spreads herpes virus B.
I'm like, well, I was there and I touched everything.
That alert leaving Michelle on edge and unsure of what to do. Her close contact later leading to pink eye and flu-like symptoms.
I walked through their poop, I touched their crates.
What? Okay, hold on. Did y'all just hear what she said? She said she touched their poop. This is a total clown show. people need to wake up and see, like, what are the chances of a truck carrying a bunch of monkeys crashing, this woman just totally taking up on herself to just walk up and touch these monkeys, touch their poop, and then on top of that, talking about she done touched everything else. And then boom, a few months later, now we've got a monkeypox situation. Do you guys see how people are being played and people are being, like, literally just taken for a ride? You know, I don't believe at all anything that this story is telling us. I think that this is just a scapegoat because it's just something else that they created in the lab. And this is the perfect story, the perfect scapegoat that they can present, and people will believe it. I mean, I've literally talked to people that believe that the 1-9 wasn't meant to get out. It wasn't really literally created, you know, in a lab for the destruction of humanity to bring in the hokey pokey. It's just, there's just too many coincidences. None of this adds up. I mean, why would you walk through monkey poop and then start touching everything else? I mean, this is just clownery that people actually believe this stuff. Anyway, let's continue on, man. I mean, I just don't get it. This is a post that somebody posted. I was actually going to use this for the thumbnail because I thought it was hilarious. You know, just a little laugh here and there for you guys. But, all right, so moving on. So the next thing I want to show you guys is on Twitter. There's this guy named Jordan Satchel, and he kind of explains a little bit more of the process of what happened with them developing the hokey pokey for this monkeypox. I mean, the only reason they would develop it in advance is because they knew it was going to happen. That's the only sense I could make out of it. Let me just scroll down here because he tells you exactly how this all unfurled. So basically, as I scroll, I'll just give you a quick understanding of it. So basically, a few days before it was announced about this outbreak, the cat, okay, if you want to know what I'm referring to, you just take the first letters of each of those and you get exactly where I'm going with that. But the cat had actually invested in an actual poke for the pox, the current monkey business. So they knew that it was going to happen. They knew that there was going to be an outbreak. Check it out. It says, interestingly, the FDA approved this shot, citing the possibility of a warfare incident. However, with the current MP scare, no evidence that this is the case. Cases seem to be showing up only in the gay community right now, according to Euro officials. Now, I'm going to say this. I believe that there's judgment that is coming upon those that live that lifestyle of the alphabet soup. I even believe that viruses that have been created by man in a lab is how the Most High will judge these people for what they're doing. Because they do it so blatantly. They push it on children. They shove it down kids' throats. They teach it in schools. They fill movies and television and music with the propaganda. I believe the Most High is literally judging these people. Which is why I don't think it's an accident that it's mostly affecting the Alphabet Rainbow Coalition HD TV community. So they knew in advance that this was going to happen. That's why they already rolled out investing in a poke for it. I'm trying to find the post, man. I can't find it. I don't think it's here. It's probably like buried under all these other articles. But basically, like I said, they knew in advance. So let's continue on here. Alright, so we got an article here we're going to pull up from the endtimesheadlines.org. If you guys are wanting to keep up with End Times headlines, I highly recommend this website. They also have an app. They have it on the Google Play Store, and they also have it on the Apple App Store. And it's called the End Times Headlines. It's right here. Just in case people might want to get it, this is the logo. Just look up End Times Headlines. They can send notifications to your phone every time there's more End Time stuff. This is how I'm able to keep up. I'm able to make these shows. I'm able to, show people what's coming by keeping up using this app. So, I'm not being paid to promote it, but anyway. Here we go again. Top Biden health officials are sounding the alarm regarding rising CVD infections. And it says top Biden administration officials warned Wednesday that 1/3 of Americans live in communities experiencing rising levels of the CV cases and hospitalizations and urged them to resume taking personal protection measures, including wearing your face diapers. The increase in new infections nearing $100,000 a day come as the nation heads into Memorial Day weekend with its large gatherings and travel. That case count is almost certainly an undercount, officials said, given the widespread use of at-home tests for which results are often not reported to health officials. Rochelle Walensky, director of the Center for the Cat Prevention, strongly encouraged those living in communities designated yellow or orange, indicating they have large numbers of new infections and hospitalizations, to consider wearing face diapers in indoor public places and taking other steps to protect themselves. So they actually have a map that they're using to start to basically come after certain parts of different states. Now I'm going to pull up this map here. This is going to be a way that they start to come at these lower income communities. I was talking to my girlfriend and I was telling her that they've been targeting people from my community, the black community, for this poke for quite some time now. This map is a way in which they're going to be able to directly come after certain low income urban communities, quote unquote. So I'm going to show you this map here. And this map is how they're going to be able to, go through different states and say that this area is more at risk. So if like you're in California or you're in Los Angeles, they can go to South Central and say the risk is higher there. So we got to impose mandates here. So if you look at this map here, it shows you the US and it also shows you the intensity of the case outbreak depending on the color. So green is good, red is very, very bad, yellow is, kind of getting there, and then orange is like closest to right before red. So they have a whole outline of these different states, and when you look here, you can go through Alabama, you can go through the different counties in these different states, and you can just literally look at the case rate and understand how bad it is. So for example, in Alaska, you can see how much of this particular state is in the red. So all of these parts of Alaska that are in the red are going to be forced to comply and, go back to the mandates basically. So they're doing it on a case-by-case basis. And it says daily new cases, 100,000 per person. 100,000 people and counting. This is total totalitarian stuff, bro. The fact that they're separating regions so that they can easily come after certain locations where they want to force these mandates and eventually the poke on certain populations of people in certain areas. So for example, let's go to my home state, California. Now, one thing that needs to be understood is that the blue states are always going to be the worst when it comes to these outbreaks, when it comes to the mandates, when it comes to how bad it's going to be. The blue states will always be the worst of the worst. So I expect that looking at California, let's take a look here. And like I said, you can easily just go to the different counties and take a look at the case rates and kind of get an understanding of what we're looking at here. So you got Ventura County, you've got San Diego County, and you can see that they're all in the red. And the one most at risk is going to be Del Norte County, which has a 67% rate of 100,000 people of cases from the outbreak. And then as you scroll further down, you can see it starts to turn yellow, and then it starts to go to green, which is in Sierra County. So if you wanted to be specific and you just wanted to get understanding of your certain area where you're at, I would suggest going to this map so you can understand what's coming to your particular area. For example, San Bernardino County, and I'm pretty sure they're lying about these numbers. It says there's been 7,400 deaths, 600,000 total cases, and 364 daily new cases. Now, San Bernardino is obviously a predominantly low-income area. So I'm not surprised by these numbers. Let's look at another one here. We got Riverside County, 628,000 cases total, 6,500 deaths, and 407 new cases. Okay, let's see. Let's look at Fresno. 18,000 people have died. I'm sorry, 2,700 people are dead, 258,000 total cases, and 188 total cases daily. So I just feel like this is a great tool to use if you're better trying to understand how these mandates are going to affect where you're at. So if you want to be able to check this map out, I would suggest going to Global Academics. But let's go back to this article here. So it says that the Rochelle Walensky, director for the cat prevention, strongly encouraged those living in communities designated yellow or orange. Like we just looked at just now, we could clearly see that those low-income areas are yellow and orange, indicating they have larger numbers of new infections and hospitalizations to consider wearing masks in indoor public spaces and taking other steps to protect themselves. So we can see now that the cat is looking at the places that they deem, even if it's true or not, that they deem to be most at risk. So let's continue on here. Moving on. All right. Let's check this one out here. This is actually a video. It says apocalyptic Christian cult is blamed for the spread of the CV in South Korea. Now, this is something I've been telling people for a long time, that there's going to be persecution that would come against believers. You know, persecution that would come against those that believe in the Bible, believe in the Most High, believe in His Son, believe in the Holy Spirit. This is just another way to plant those seeds and add fuel to the fire. And in some of these countries, you know, believing in you know, the Bible and having Bible study is completely discouraged. And the Most High sent His Son, and His Son told us that there would come a time where there would be great persecution. Let's take a look at this video. Are being linked to a controversial cult, the new CV cases. Let me just full screen this. Many of those affected by the deadly virus are members of the Church of Jesus. Interesting. So we can't bring up Islamicists, we can't bring up Buddhists, we can't even bring up Satanists. But we can come after those that are, and they're calling it, notice the terminology they're using, they're calling it a cult. The Church of Jesus is being called a cult. Now, you guys know me. I used to be a Christian myself. I still believe in the Son. I still believe in the Father. I still believe in the Bible. I just don't call Him His English transliterated name. I use His Hebraic name because Jesus is fairly new according to biblical text. His name is Yahusha, okay? But people that call upon the name of Jesus are still going to face persecution. And we can clearly see that they're calling it a cult and they're blaming it on the Church of Jesus. Let's continue. This is the persecution we're talking about. Among the 36 new patients, 35 of them were found in the Daegu, excuse the pronunciation, in northern Giles. I can't even pronounce that. I'm not going to even try.
현재 36명 중 35명은 대구 경북 지역에서 확인되었으며 한 명은
Okay, so you guys get the message. We're going to move on. But this is what they're going to do. You know, they are going to continue to say, and if you notice, I was talking to my girlfriend Candy about this. I was telling her that this conservative stuff, especially here in America, in the States, most people on the right are Christians. You know what I mean? And so when they're going MAGA and they're representing Trump and they're saying they believe in conservatism, they're marking themselves. Because if you notice, conservatives get more censored and more banned than liberal people. Most people hate Donald Trump and don't even know why. And you know, you've noticed, and we're going to talk about the shooting that took place in Buffalo. We're going to get into that because that also links to this. But they're coming after Christians through Donald Trump, and he's playing these people that trust him. And that's what they're not seeing. But they're using Trump to come after Christians, just like we see right here. And I guarantee you, as time goes on, they're going to start, when the next poke comes out, they're going to say these Christians are conspiracy theorists. They're saying it's the mark. They're spreading misinformation. This is how the persecution is going to continue. All right, let's continue on. All right, this next video, George Carlin absolutely obliterates libtards and their save the earth bullcrap. So you guys know about climate change. I'm going to tell you right now, I might get banned for even saying this, but I don't care. The truth is the truth, whether you like it or not. Climate change is not real. Okay? It's not. It's a lie. It's fake. They just come up with it so they can enforce more of their draconian mandates, so they can put more control over your life, so they can tell you that you can't run your air conditioner for a certain time of the day, or you can't drive your car as much as you want to because you're contaminating the environment. The whole climate change argument is bullcrap. It's all about control. But let's take a look at what he says.
See, I'm not one of these people who's worried about everything. You got people like this around you. Country's full of them now. People walking around all day long, every minute of the day, worried about everything. Worried about the air, worried about the water, worried about the soil. Worried about insecticides, pesticides, food additives, carcinogens. Worried about radon gas, worried about asbestos. Worried about saving endangered species. Let me tell you about endangered species, all right? Saving endangered species is just one more arrogant attempt by humans to control nature. It's arrogant meddling. It's what got us in trouble in the first place. Doesn't anybody understand that? Interfering with nature. Over 90%, way over 90% of all the species that have ever lived on this planet, are gone. They're extinct. We didn't kill them all. They just disappeared. That's what nature does. They disappear these days at the rate of 25 a day. And I mean regardless of our behavior. Irrespective of how we act on this planet, 25 species that were here today will be gone tomorrow. Let them go gracefully. Leave nature alone. Haven't we done enough? We're so self-important. So self-important. Everybody's going to save something now. Save the trees, save the bees, save the whales, save those snails. And the greatest arrogance of all, save the planet. What? Are these fucking... Save the planet? We don't even know how to take care of ourselves yet. We haven't learned how to care for one another. We're going to save the fucking planet? I'm getting tired of that shit. Tired.
And let me just say this real quick. You can obviously tell that this is an old video. So you can see how they've been pushing this narrative of climate change and global warming and save the planet and all this other stuff. And another thing I want to say also before we continue watching this, we're not going to watch the whole thing, but I feel like it's important to say this, is that the other agenda of climate change as well is to hide the signs that the Most High is sending. Okay, like the Most High is sending us signs in the sun and the moon, the stars. Yahushua HaMashiach, Jesus Christ, told us that there would be blood moons, there would be fearful sights from heaven, that there would be all of these signs to help us understand the times that we're in. And so the enemy doesn't want you to understand that the Bible is true, right? So he can just say, oh, it's just climate change. It's just a natural occurrence. None of this stuff we're seeing is natural. These fires in California are not natural. Okay, the blood moon we're seeing is not natural. The red skies in China we're seeing are not natural. The Most High loves us, y'all. He loves us. And even those that are living wickedly, he's trying to get their attention to repent. He's trying to warn them of the terrible devastation that is about to take place on this earth. And climate change is going to completely try to decimate what Scripture says is going to happen. And, you know, there's also other factors such as geoengineering and chemtrails and all that other stuff. That's a whole nother conversation. But let's continue.
I'm tired of fucking Earth Day. I'm tired of these self-righteous environmentalists, these white bourgeois liberals who think the only thing wrong with this country is there aren't enough bicycle paths. People trying to make the world safe for their Volvos. Besides, environmentalists don't give a shit about the planet. They don't care about the planet. Not in the abstract, they don't. Not in the abstract, they don't. You know what they're interested in? A clean place to live. Their own habitat. They're worried that someday in the future they might be personally inconvenienced. Narrow, unenlightened self-interest doesn't impress me. Besides, there is nothing wrong with the planet. Nothing wrong with the planet. The planet is fine. The people are fucked. Difference. The planet is fine. Compared to the people, the planet is...
All right, let's move on. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of this guy because he's definitely said some things I don't agree with as far as talking very, very, very blasphemously about the Most High Yahuwah. I don't agree with that. But he does make a lot of good points about the deep state, about the globalist elite, the Luciferians. He does call these things out. His views on the Most High are very, like, anti the Most High. But, you know, there are things I can agree with him on. All right. So the next thing we're going to check out is my boy from Computing Forever on Bitchute. Now, like I said, if you don't watch his videos, y'all need to watch this dude. He used to be on YouTube, but he got banned on YouTube.
Lots of important stories to get through today in this episode of How Is This a...
I'm sorry, y'all. So he does videos exposing a lot of things.
Let's dive right in.
And I think you guys should watch his channel. The Computing Forever is the name of his channel. He was here on YouTube, but he got banned because obviously he's exposing way too much truth and they're not feeling it. So he got banned for that reason. But if you want to watch his videos, I think I played this in the last show, so we're going to just skip this. But Computing Forever on Bitchute. All right. Now, this is very important. Okay? So, while everybody is distracted by the monkeypox, everyone's distracted about Roe v. versus Wade. Everybody is distracted about inflation and baby formula shortages and Ukraine and all this other crap. The World Health Assembly, the WHO, is coming together and meeting to discuss some very, 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 very concerning things. And this is going to take place between the 22nd and the 28th. So it's literally a few days away. This is what they're not telling you. Let me read the article for you. It says the WHA is the decision-making body of the Who Did It. It is attended by delegations from all the Who Did It member states and focuses on a specific health agenda prepared by the executive board. The main functions of the Who Did It are to determine the policies of the organization, appoint the director, general supervisor, financial policies, and review and approve the proposed program budget. The Health Assembly is held annually in Switzerland. And again, as I've mentioned, it's taking place between the 22nd to the 28th. Now, what's interesting about this to me is that just literally a few days ago, there was talk, and I talked about this in the last show that he did. Last week, we did another live show. If you haven't had a chance to check it out, I would suggest looking at it. Lots of information in there. In the last show, I told you guys about how they are going to strip the sovereignty from 194 nations. The Who Did It is going to do this. And basically, when there is another pandemic, okay, they will have total control of everything and how it's rolled out as far as the mandates. There will be no sovereignty whatsoever. So what they say will be, will be. This is what this meeting is about. Because I told you guys already, there is something else that they're planning and they're waiting on. They're just waiting for the right time to implement it. This is not over. And Mr. Bill Gates of hell himself literally said that there's going to be another one. This is what they're meeting for. Now, I believe that they're going to actually be voting on this. Chances are it's going to go through. So let's just look at the culmination of events leading up to this moment. So we have the Who Did It admitting that they are going to strip away the sovereignty of the states. We have the people in power saying that there's going to be another wave of something. And not only that, but we also have the Who Did It and the WEF saying that they are going to accelerate Agenda 2030. Do you guys see what's going on here? Do you realize that everything that you have come to know in this world, everything that you've gotten used to and you've accepted, all of that is about to be gone in possibly a matter of a few weeks. So if you're watching this video, I suggest you put on that spiritual armor of the Most High. I suggest that you start stocking the heck up and you get ready, because our lives are going to change drastically very, very, very soon. Okay? So yeah, there you have it right there. The 75th World Health Assembly. where they will be meeting and discussing stripping away the rights of the people and the sovereignty of 194 countries and nations. So presumably the whole world. Now, let's go here. Just to kind of hit on that a little bit further. So this is from the Who Did It website. And let's just read what it says. It says the 75th World Health Assembly is being held in Geneva, Switzerland on the 22nd through the 28th, May 22. It is the first in-person health assembly since the start of the CVD-19. Proceedings will be webcast live from the webpage. Simultaneous interpretation is available in Arabic, Chinese, English, French, Russian, and Spanish. So I'm assuming that this is a promotion of it. So let's just go ahead and watch this, actually. I'm just really interested to see what this video is showing us. And of course, it shows two men hugging. I'm not going to even say nothing about that. Watch delegates, check out what that says right there. This is what I just told you. Watch delegates from 194 Who Did It member states. So this is what I'm trying to get people to understand. This is why I don't subscribe to politics. I don't vote. I don't believe in any of these systems. Because all of these people are in cahoots. They're all on board with this. There's no way you're going to be able to become any type of political leader, any type of president, prime minister, or anything of the sort if you are not a part or a member of the Who Did It. This is literally just a way for them to meet and discuss how they're going to implement this coming change that I'm talking about. All of these people in power know about this. They know what's coming. And they're meeting between the 22nd and the 28th, so when the next thing comes, they know exactly how to move. They can discuss the backlash that's going to come for it. They can discuss the possible uprisings that can come for it. It's all just preparation. That's all this is. So if they're meeting to get together for this, we don't know exactly when the rollout of the next thing is going to be. But considering the fact that we just discussed the monkey business, that could be the next scapegoat where they're going to bring this in. So understand, guys, things are about to get really all of us. Put on the armor of Yah. That's all I can say. It says that so everybody everywhere has an equal opportunity at a healthy life. I don't understand why you guys are pushing all of these like big pharma products on us and just don't tell us to exercise, eat right, take care of ourselves, eat less carbohydrates, more vegetables, drink lots of water, stop eating fast food and chemically processed foods. It's little things you can do to literally rectify your health. Shout out to my girlfriend Candy. She actually put me on to some supplements that literally clean out your body. They detox you. If you need that information, you can contact her. But there's things you can do to take care of yourself that you don't need to take these solutions that they're offering you. If you want to be in total optimal health, stop eating crap food. Start eating more healthy. Start exercising. Start drinking more water. Stop eating fast food and, chemically processed food and the stuff that they put on the shelves in the grocery store that they put there for a longer shelf life. Stop eating this, imitation meat, this plant-based meat and this synthetic meat that they're pushing at you. Stop eating that junk. Stop eating that trash. That's what's making you more susceptible to this stuff. And another thing I want to say too is to all the people that were compliant and took the hokey pokey, they're going to be most affected by the next wave because their immune system is already compromised. They're going to be affected the most by this, which is why it was a very terrible decision to take it. Because one thing we know for a fact is it does compromise your immunity. So they're going to be the most affected by what's coming. Another thing I think is really interesting is you can see the serpent right here in plain sight on the logo. Doesn't that remind you of a certain character in the book of Genesis that deceived the first human beings to ever walk this earth? Satan never hides himself. All right, y'all, let's move on here. All right, we're getting ready to wrap this up. All right, now the next thing I want to talk about is this Buffalo situation. It is definitely a false flag, okay? It is 100% a false flag attack. Once again, to come after conservatives. You notice one word that they throw around a lot is the terminology of white supremacist. Now, I have a video from my boy Kid Money, who is also a truth seeker on Instagram. You can find him, Kid Money. Now, this is a video of this man that's talking about how he knew the shooter. And in this clip, it's caught on camera showing him actually being told what to say to the reporters. Let's take a look at this, man.
Feeling I had about him, and
let me rewind this.
He looked out of place, not because he was white. It's just a feeling I had about him, and intuition. Yeah.
Did you see that? They told him exactly what to say while he's talking to the reporter. Let's look at it one more time, because it's kind of fast, but I want to make sure y'all see that this is all staged.
He looked out of place, not because he was white. It's just a feeling I had about him, and intuition, yes, definitely energy that made me say, well, let me talk to this guy. And I talked to him for like an hour and 45 minutes, and I actually even bought him something to drink because he did seem a little nervous, but I wasn't able to get anything out of him where I could at least have.
Okay, so you can clearly see that he is being told what to say. And let's see what Kid Money wrote. He said, all mass shootings are linked to the CIA and the FBI. These shooters are usually controlled. That's why they don't mind being arrested without a problem. That is true. And it also could be an example of MK Ultra. I've talked about MK Ultra many times all throughout the years since I've been in this truth movement. I've told you guys that a lot of times people are abducted by the government, experimented on by the government, and the government did research and did experiments on people to control the way they act, to control the things they do. And a lot of times when these things happen, these people are not even in the knowledge that they're actually committing these crimes or committing these acts. It's completely oblivious to them. All right, so we got that right there. Now, another thing I want to show you guys is another video exposing the lies about this situation. So let's open up this Rumble video, and it says, the Buffalo resident stuns reporters with reaction to mass shooting. So this guy right here might actually be another one of the people that's in on the PSYOP. Now you notice that the mainstream media, Fox News, which is a right-wing media news outlet, is reporting it. Let's take a look.
Had to say. This is just ridiculous. I mean, what else can you say? It's ridiculous. Something has to change from the bottom to the top, because they're not going to do nothing. We got to do something, because this is ridiculous. I feel bad for the people that was in there, because after the security guard got shot, he got a gun shooting people still. If more people were armed and knew what they were doing with a gun, because it's not the gun, it's the person with the gun that don't know how to act. So, I just hope something comes from this.
Now, I want to make one thing abundantly clear, guys. I'm not saying that these shootings and these PSYOPs and these false flags, people aren't actually innocently being killed. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying to you is that people do get killed, but the whole orchestration of the event is planned by the deep state, the CIA, the feds. Unfortunately, there are people that end up dying in these planned events by the government, but they don't care. Especially if it's black people, unfortunately, because, you know, we are the chosen ones. You know, so they've got it out for us. But, yeah, so I'm not at all saying that this is not true, that people don't actually die. They just, unfortunately, are victims of these PSYOPs. All right, moving on. So this is another video from our boy at Computing Forever talking about Bill Gates. Now, I don't know if I can show you guys this video because there's a lot of trigger words in this, but we're going to just try it out and see. And if he says too much, then I'm going to have to cut it off. But let's just give it a try and see what we can discover.
Past 2 years, the media has perpetuated the COVID lie and denied the dangers of the jabs. But with just some basic research, anyone could discover the truth for themselves. The information about the risks associated with the vaccine trial...
Okay, yeah, he's saying a little bit too much. You know what I mean? And it's just really a shame that I don't even have the freedom to show you guys this stuff because of the algorithms. But anyway, guys, that's pretty much the video. I know it's kind of short. I was a little kind of caught up with some things, so I wasn't really able to go as deep in this particular episode. But I'll see you guys next week. We're going to have a longer show, but I just wanted to run through some things. I wanted to talk about the monkey situation, the monkey business. I wanted to show you guys how that was planned. I wanted to expose what they're going to be doing between the 22nd and the 28th and how there's something on the horizon and how our lives are going to change very, very soon. Just make sure you're prepared. That's all I can say. Make sure you're putting all your faith in the Most High. Make sure that you are reading that Bible and you're not believing nothing the mainstream media tells you, nothing that the other people are doing or telling you. You just make sure you keep your eyes on the Most High and you're preparing for these hard times. Stocking up, lots of water, lots of food, and just putting on the armor. Before we close out the show, I just want to say a quick prayer for everybody watching, and we will close out the show. Father Abba, we thank you for this show. Father, we thank you for the community of believers, of those who are truth seekers, Father. For they love the truth as we should, Father. I thank you for this body of believers that have come here to be able to receive the truth, and we are able to talk to each other and discuss these things and expose these evil agendas. Father, those out there that have families, those out there that have friends that are still lost in the sauce, Father, I pray that they are able to reach these people, Father. I pray that my videos and my content are able to reach those that don't know this information, that they may be walking in the truth, Father. I pray that your Holy Spirit will dwell in the homes of those who are lost and having a hard time being able to get their family to understand these things, that your grace and your spirit will sweep over those households, Father. Allow them to be led to channels like mine and many others that are doing your work, Father, because at the end of the day, the only solution is through you, Father, and through your Son, Yahushua HaMashiach. All praises to the Most High, Father. We thank you. And everybody, you have a good weekend. I love you all. In the name of our Savior, Yahushua HaMashiach, be blessed. I'll catch you guys in the next one. It's your boy, TTP, back with another one. Shalom.